Welcome. First and foremost, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Hope that you have the opportunity to spend quality time with your loved one and get some time to rest and relax before the start of the new year. As we head into 2026, there will be a new approach to the Christopher Peter Review podcast, starting next Monday. Still will be your source for an economic perspective, but we'll have some updates and episodes will cover more topics and current events. My focus with the Christopher Peter Review is to provide you with a weekly forum where the top issues and current events are discussed in an objective manner, not from a perspective biased from political leanings or rigid frameworks of what our world should look like. Rather, I want to focus more on the core of these issues and topics to try to identify realistic solutions that can create the greatest amount of good for the greatest number of people. You cannot please everyone, but if we can try to help as many people as possible, then we can do some good. Next week, we will start the rebrand off. But right now let us discuss this past week in the world's top sports league. The Philadelphia Eagles continued its bounce-back run with a flawed but strong showing against the Washington Commanders in Landover, Maryland. The game could not have started any worse than it did for the Eagles, as Will Shipley fumbled the opening kickoff. For a team playing to clinch its division and trying to put recent struggles behind them, the hope is that they would come out with attention to detail. But there were some moments in this game where the persistent opportunities for improvement came to light. Jake Elliott struggled in this game, missing 3 kicks. For the season as a whole, he has been mostly reliable, following a down year last season. But we have to hope that this is not a regression back to the place kicker that we feared may have his best days behind him. The Eagles' offensive line has to be more sound with our signature play. Sure, the ranting and whining by opponents may impact sensitivity for calls, but there are some clear issues with early movement that need to be cleaned up. The Commanders are an injured team, a shell of the team that we ran over in the NFC Championship game last season. During the game, they were down to their third-string quarterback, and played without our former star tight end Zach Ertz, who we all hope heals quickly from his knee injury and decides what is best for his future. So this win is not a staple win for any reason other than we won the game and clinched the first back-to-back division championship in 2 decades, since Andy Reid was patrolling our sidelines, the longest reported drought for back-to-back division champs in league history. Tip our hats to the Commanders for rising to the challenge as much as they could and not letting excuses dictate how they play and the effort that they will exert to compete in the field. Once Daniels returns, they will need to build around him with players that can grow with him, not just veteran rentals. Back to the champions, the Eagles dominated the game in the second half, but we need to iron out the kinks in the armor. I think we at least learned that the Eagles can win games where our stars shine. Our Eagles can play complementary football with the offense sustaining drives. Now, let us build on that and prepare for the playoffs.
We can celebrate the win over a division rival, clinching the division crown, and ending the season of the Dallas Cowboys. But we must be cautious to believe that good performances over bad teams are a definitive sign that the ills are cured. We see what the picture should look like, and we hope that it can be replicated in big moments against better competition. That is the fear many of our fellow Eagles fans have for the postseason. When we have to face teams like the Rams, 49ers, Packers, Bears, or Seahawks. The Eagles may not be able to make the postseason games into the messy close games where we win at the end. Can we match the best of our opponents with our best? At our best, I think we are still among the best teams in the league regardless of records. But we need to be able to show it.
I want our fellow Eagles fans to let some of the tensions alleviate and recognize that we have many statement wins this season that we should not overlook. We have wins over the Rams, the Packers, the Lions, the Bucks, and can add the Bills to that list next week. The world did not end when we came up short in a close loss to the Chargers, despite our horrific play. It did not end when we got complacent against the Cowboys, or we went lifeless against the Bears. Those efforts should not have happened ideally, but there are highs and lows in every season. Many great teams have had to overcome poor regular season play for a deep playoff run. In a perfect world, we would be the top seed. But that is not the reality we are facing this season. We have to be able to win a game at home or on the road. It should not matter as long as we have another opponent to put down.
The league is showing a great level of parity this season. The pundits glorify the Rams as the favorites for the Super Bowl this year. They are staring down the path of being a wild card team, after the Seahawks got the better of them at home. The Packers were considered early favorites for the NFC. Now, they will most likely not even win their division, following another lackluster performance. Losing to the Bears in a game that they could have wrapped up with better hand position and the ability to catch an onside kick. There is still no team where I think you can reasonably view them as completely unbeatable. Every team has a flaw. Every contender has a bad loss on their record. Or what would be perceived as a bad loss.
There is no team that should be feared this season. Every team can be beaten, including our Eagles. There is no clear-cut favorite, and that makes for an exciting postseason. The games will have a level of unpredictability. In both conferences, the path to the Super Bowl in Santa Clara will be more open than in the past. The Chiefs, who have been the gatekeeper of the AFC, will no longer be in the way. They were eliminated, ending the streak of 5 straight conference championship games. There will be no appearances by 2 key star quarterbacks in Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, as it appears that both will be watching from the comforts of their mansions. So, if Josh Allen wants to shed the cloud around him, now is the chance. But he will have to overcome the Patriots, who have excelled with one of the easiest schedules in the recent history of the league, potentially make it past the Broncos in their defense, and possibly the league's top defense in the Texans. The Rams are considered the best overall roster, but they may be a wild card. The Eagles may have to take on the Niners in Philly, get past them, and may have to travel to Chicago for a rematch with Caleb and the Bears. There is not a team in the conference that is formidable. The Niners are playing well, but we have the talent to overcome their injury-riddled roster. The Seahawks look good, but the playoffs will be another test for Sam Darnold to prove he is really different. So, there are a whole host of opportunities this year, but still 2 weeks of action left.
Speaking of 2 weeks of action left, let's discuss the picks for the upcoming week. This may be a bit more difficult given the fact that 7 teams have already clinched a berth into the playoffs. Many teams are already destined to spend the rest of the season preparing for 2026. Not many games that will be perceived to be competitive. But there is still seeding and pride left to play for. And players want to end on a high note. Especially if they are a free agent in March.
I think I will start with the big showdown on Saturday night between the Baltimore Ravens and the Green Bay Packers, in a key matchup with playoff implications for both teams. Despite the early hype, the Green Bay Packers are not already in the playoff field. In fact, they could miss the playoffs and allow the Detroit Lions to backdoor themselves into the field, if they lose their remaining games. The only hope for the Baltimore Ravens is to win out, including the final game of the season in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers are currently in the driver's seat. Add more drama to the situation. Both teams may be without their starting quarterbacks in this game. Lamar Jackson left the loss to the New England Patriots after injuring his back. Jordan Love suffered a concussion in his loss to the Chicago Bears. Depending on who is able to have their starting quarterback play will probably impact who wins this matchup. But, at this moment, with both showing as questionable, I will pick the Green Bay Packers to win. Malik Willis has played pretty well in relief of Jordan Love. To be fair, Tyler Huntley has filled in well for Jackson in the past, but the Ravens are a team severely underperforming with turnovers and mental mistakes at times. The Packers should have an edge. The Sunday night game is one that should be very entertaining. The Chicago Bears taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Both are 11-4. Both are shockingly in the playoff field. The Bears were not expected to be as good as they are playing. The Niners are winning despite their injury-prone lineup. The Bears have played well against all comers this season, and I would not be surprised if they continue their strong play against the Niners, who are coming off their best game of the season. I will pick the Bears to win this one. A battle of division leaders will take place in Carolina, where the Panthers will host the current top seed in the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks should be able to win this game, but the Panthers have beaten teams like the Rams and Packers already this season. Sam Darnold will be returning to his first stop after leaving the New York Jets. Will he be able to lead his team to victory in a place where he did not do much winning in the past? And will there be a potential letdown following their big win last week? I will take the Seahawks in this game. I think they are the better team, but I would not be surprised if the Panthers continued playing well against another quality opponent. There is also the length of trip that has plagued the teams traveling eastward, but the Panthers may be a year too early. The Houston Texans take their top-ranked defense to Los Angeles to face the Chargers, who are vying for the playoffs as well. The Texans have bounced back quite nicely after starting the season with 3 straight losses. The Chargers, on the other hand, started with 3 straight wins to open their campaign, but both seem destined for wildcard spots. The Chargers are better than in the past, but I am not sure they are really a contender. Again, who really is based on what I said earlier? In this matchup, I will take the Texans. They have a dominant defense and we will really see if Justin Herbert can handle the challenge. I think the game will be close, but my feeling is that the Texans will prevail in the end. Finally, the 2 main teams vying for the top pick in the upcoming draft will face off. The New York Giants will travel to Las Vegas to face the Raiders. This is a game the Raiders need to lose with every ounce of determination. While the Giants could use this pick, The Raiders have so many holes to fill, and using this pick or trading it for a plethora of additional picks will help them finally become relevant again. Selling a stake to Tom Brady has not been the immediate boost, but it may pay off in the future. The Giants have their quarterback and running back of the future. They need to fill out the rest of their roster. The Giants could use the draft capital that can be spun off from the top pick, but the Raiders need it more. The Giants are just a better team than the Raiders. The Giants should win this game. I am sure Mike Kafka could use the win on his record, and the Giants would benefit from a win, even if it only nets the second overall pick. They do not need a quarterback, and the Raiders are not close to winning right now.
Thank you for experiencing this episode of the Christopher Peter Podcast, part of the Christopher Peter Review. Your viewership is appreciated and valued. Please follow the Christopher Peter Review on social media and continue to visit www.crcreview.com for new episodes of the Christopher Peter Podcast and the CRC. Thank you once again. Until next time.